Hello, friend. Uh, um, I am Dr. Anil Kumar Sahu, Associate Professor of Bharat Institution of Engineering and Technology, Hyderabad. Today, I have to discuss microwave engineering. So, in this topic, our agenda is to discuss about the microwave waveguide. But as we know that we have already discussed the microwave and properties, advantages, and limitations, and as well as the applications. So we know that microwave properties, their spectrums, advantages and disadvantages and limitations of microwaves. We have separately discussed all these topics. Our agenda today is to discuss about the waveguides. So here we will discuss waveguide, basic features, rectangular waveguides, circular waveguide, and its applications. So what do you mean by the waveguides? So waveguide is an hollow metallic tube of uniform cross sections for transmitting electromagnetic wave by the successive reflections from the inner wall of the tube is called waveguide. So here waveguide is used for transmitting the higher frequency signals, because at higher frequency greater than 3 gigahertz the transmission line and cable, it's very difficult to transmit this electromagnetic energy. So why? Because this is due to the losses of transmission line, both in a solid dielectric needed to support the conductor as and in conductor themselves. So a metallic tube can be used to transmit the electromagnetic wave at the above frequency. So transmission line can't be used at higher than 3 gigahertz. So here once you can see the if this cross section area is a rectangular waveguide, a rectangular one, then rectangular cross section, then it is called rectangular waveguide. So how you can define rectangular waveguide? A rectangular waveguide is a hollow metallic tube of rectangular cross sections uniform for transmitting the electromagnetic wave by successive reflection from the inner wall of the rectangular tube is called a rectangular waveguide. And how you can define a circular waveguide? A hollow metallic tube of uniform cross section, uniform circular cross section of sections for transmitting electromagnetic wave by successive reflection from the inner wall of the circular tube is called a circular waveguide. Simple definitions: and waveguide may be used to carry the energy between the piece of equipment or over a longer distance to carry the transmitter power to an antenna or a microwave signal from antenna to the receiver. So waveguide are made from different material such as copper, aluminium, brasses. So this metal having are extruded into the long rectangular or circular pipes, and electromagnetic energy to be carried by waveguide is injected into one end of the waveguide. So the electric and magnetic field is associated with this waveguide and with the signal, and this signal bounce off the inside wall back and forth as it's progress down the waveguide. So this is the about the your signal transmission, signal wave propagation inside the waveguide. So EM field configure with the waveguide. So in order to determine the EM electromagnetic field configuration within the waveguide, most of the time we are using the Maxwell equations. So Maxwell equations should be solved the subject to appropriate boundary conditions. Here we will apply the Maxwell equation along with the boundary conditions at the wall of the guide. Such solutions give rise to number of field configurations. So each configuration is known as mode. Okay, how you can define the mode? Um, such solutions gives the rise to the number of field configuration. Each configuration is known as a mode. Okay, and the following are the different mode possible in the waveguide systems. So component of electric field and magnetic field in the electromagnetic field. Right, here we can see that from the figure three axis is there: x axis, y axis, and z axis. X axis having electric field which is Ex, and magnetic field which is Hx. Similar to for y-axis, electric field is Ey, and magnetic field is which is designated Hy. Similarly for z-axis, electric field is Ez and Hz. Okay, so these are the components available. So now based on these particular access distributions, we possible mode of there are three possible mode of configurations inside the waveguide. First one is a TEM. TEM, which is stand for transverse electric magnetic field, uh, or it is also called transverse electromagnetic waves. So here what happened? Here both the electric field and magnetic fields are directed. Means this particular mode of configuration consists of electric field as well as magnetic fields. So in this case, here both electric field is equal to 0 at the directions of propagation Ez. The electric field is 0 and magnetic field is Hz is also 0. For the transverse transverse electric field, here only electric field is purely transverse to the directions of the propagation, and the magnetic field is not purely transverse. So in this case you can represent in for the direction of wave propagation in the z direction Hz, because here the electric field only electric field is present, and magnetic field is purely transverse. That means Sz is equal to Sz is not equal to 0, but Ez is equal to 0. So now come to the another type, that is a transverse magnetic field. Here only magnetic field is transverse to the directions of propagations, and the electric field is not purely transverse. So here Ez is 0, but Ez is not equal to 0, but Hz is equal to 0. Hybrid kind of waves are also possible. Here neither electric nor magnetic fields are purely transverse to the directions of propagation. In this case, Hez and is not equal to 0 and Hz is not equal to 0. So now come to the uh, what kind of field patterns are available for the transverse electric field TE mod, and what are the electric field inside the TM mod. So here we can see that for the TE mod, okay, for the TE mod you can see, or you can easily see that here for the TE mod, your electric field which is represented by the blue line, okay, blue line for the rectangular waveguide. Here this is example of rectangular waveguide, okay, this is example of rectangular waveguide. So here your electric field is vertical one, okay, this is a vertical line. Blue color represents the vertical line electric field. It is a perpendicular, suppose you here you can consider x axis and y axis like this. So here you can see that here it is a perpendicular motion throughout the wall of rectangular waveguide in TE mod, and in electric field is a perpendicular, and magnetic fields are this red line represent the magnetic field. So magnetic fields, you can see magnetic fields is along with the this plane, okay. So like that here the patterns is like this only, okay. So for TE mode you can say that for TE mode your electric field and magnetic field having different pattern. See, same things for a TM mode, transverse magnetic fields, your electric field which is represented here, okay, this is across the across the you can say x-axis or this plane. Okay, this is a plane. So across the this plane, okay, and your magnetic field is perpendicular to or this plane or and this is the magnetic field for the TM. So this definition or these things you should remember while the drawing the electric flux which is appear within the beginning of the appear with the beginning and end points. So this is all about the TE mod and TM mod. We already aware about this. Okay, so now switch to the rectangular waveguide. So any shape of the cross sections of a waveguide can support electromagnetic wave, of which rectangular and circular waveguides have become more common. A waveguide having a rectangular cross section is known as rectangular waveguides. Okay, so how rectangular waveguide look like this? So, okay, so here you can see that your rectangular waveguides. Okay, now yeah, here you can see your rectangular waveguides. This is your x-axis. Okay, this is a x-axis, and this is a breadth, and it is represented by a. This dimension is represented by a, and here it is a height which is a b, and which is a y-axis, and this is a x-axis. Okay, so this is your rectangular waveguides, and okay, so these things you should know, and it should have some width. Okay, so like this, here your microwave will be signal will be transmit. Okay, so now you just we just you just go through yeah, just a minute. Okay. Okay. Now come to the dimensions of waveguide which determine the operating frequency. Okay. So the size of waveguide determine its operating frequencies. Okay. The frequency of operations is determined by the dimension A. Okay, I told you the dimension of A. Okay, which is along with the x-axis. The dimension is usually made equal to one half. Ideally, the wavelength at lowest frequency of operation. This frequency is known as the waveguide cutoff frequency. So if you want to define the cutoff frequency, okay, what is the cutoff frequency? The dimension is usually made equal to one half the wavelength at lowest frequency of operations. This frequency is known as cutoff frequency. So at cutoff frequency and below the waveguide will not transmit the energy. So this is the conditions. Means below the cutoff frequency, okay, or at cutoff frequency and below, our waveguide can't transmit any kind of microwave energies. So as above frequency, at frequency above the cutoff frequency, okay, at frequency above the cutoff frequency, the waveguide will propagate the energy. Okay, so now how they can what kind of path they follow. Okay, so here at high frequency, okay, here you can see that this is your high frequency path, and here you can see at medium frequency path, and here you can see a low at low frequencies, and whenever a frequency is less than cutoff frequency, no any bounce and back, no any bounce signal bounce back and forth is possible. So here only the at cutoff frequency signal will be here only. It will, this microwave energy will not able to transmit. Okay, so this thing you just remembers. Okay, and now come to the wave propagations. How wave will propagate? When a prop launch energy into the waveguides, the electromagnetic field bounce off the side wall of waveguide as shown in the above diagram. The angle of incidence and reflection depend upon the operating frequency. Yeah, and at the high frequency the angle are large, and therefore the path between the opposite wall, okay, is relatively long. Okay, so this thing you just remember, at the angle of incidence and reflection depend upon the what kind of operating frequency you are using. So suppose you are using high frequency as a operating frequency, the angle are large at this case, and therefore the path between the opposite wall is relatively long, as shown in the figure. So at lower frequency the angle, this angle is going to be decreased, and the path between the side is shortened. So when operating frequency is reached the cutoff frequency, the waveguides, the signal simply bounce back and forth directly between the side wall of the waveguide and has a no forward motions. So at cutoff frequency and below, no at all any energy will propagate. So this thing you just must remember. So how you can define a cutoff frequency? The exact size of waveguide is selected based on the desired operating frequencies. Okay, the size of waveguide is chosen so that the rectangular width is greater than one half the wavelength but less than one wavelength at the operating frequency. Here you can understand the size of the waveguide is chosen in such that in rectangular waveguide is greater than one half of the wavelength but less than one wavelength at the operating frequencies. This gives a cutoff frequencies there that is below the operating frequencies, thereby ensuring that the signal will be propagate down the line. Okay, now representations of mode. So in a general, the symbolic representations of mode is like that. Suppose transverse electric field, we can represent transverse electric field m comma n in a subscript, or similar transverse magnetic field m comma n is where subscript m and m indicate the number of half wave vibrations of electric field intensity along with the b sides. Okay, dimension of the waveguide, and second subscript n indicate the number of half wave variations of electric field. Okay, m represent in terms of electric field intensity. Okay, and n represent the electric field intensity with respect to a. Okay, so a is a narrow dimension. So a for n represent your represented dimensions with respect to a. We know that a is wider than your a is narrower than b. So b is a wider. So b we can take as a m and a we can take as an n. So the TE10 mod, what do we mean by this? Suppose we are having TE1. So mod has the longest operating wavelength as it's designed as a dominated mod. It is the mod for the lowest frequency that can be propagated in the frequency. Okay, what is a dominant mod? Dominant mod means what? It is the mod for the lowest frequency that can be propagated in the waveguides. Okay, so now you can see that actually expression for cutoff wavelength for a standard rectangular waveguide, the cutoff wavelength is given by c is equal to 2 times of m square upon m upon a ka whole square plus n upon b ka whole square. Actually one plus sign is just missed here. Okay, So now this you can it's the overall terms of equation. C is the velocity applied, where A and B is measured in terms of this, in terms of centimeters or meters, you can see. Okay, now come to the group velocity. What do you mean by the group velocity? Okay, so here group velocity is a velocity of wave propagate at the speed of light in a waveguide. Wave doesn't travel straight down guide. The speed at which the signal move down guide is the group velocity, and it is always less than the your velocity of light. So here you can see that group velocity. Okay, what is a group velocity? Group velocity Vg is always Vg is somewhat always less than your velocity of light. So here this is 1 under root 1 minus fc का whole square upon fc is a cutoff frequency, and f stand for operating frequency. Okay, so like this. So here you can get the derivations of your group velocity. So here variations of group velocity in terms of that, if you consider above cutoff frequency. Okay, above cutoff frequency, what happens? Okay, what happened above cutoff frequency? If you kept Vg, okay, Vg is equal to under c minus 1 minus fc upon f. Okay, so what happened here? F is frequency just above the cutoff frequency. So cutoff frequency, so here the value is going to be decreased. So here it is decreased. Okay, if frequency is higher than that. Okay, higher than that. So what happened here? You can say again it is a you will get a higher frequency greater than cutoff frequencies. What happened? This again bounce back, and again if still frequency is increasing, it's again follow the path. So like this wave will be propagate. Now come to the phase velocity. So it's not a real velocity which is greater than c apparent velocity for a wave along the wall, and used for calculating the wavelength in the guide. It's very important for calculation purpose. So phase velocity, okay, you can see that phase velocity, okay, phase velocity is vp. It's represented by vp. C is the velocity of light, and this is some sort of equations which is fc upon f ka whole square. Okay, so fc is the cutoff frequency, this is operating frequency. Okay, cutoff frequency, this is operating frequency, this is the velocity of light. Okay, velocity of light. Now how do you get the variations? Okay, so variations of phase angle along with the waveguide. Here different variations we can see that. Okay, we can see that different variations based on the incidence of a rays. Now what do you mean by the characteristic impedance? Okay, so these things we can define. Okay, so characteristic impedance also represented by z naught, and which is equal to 337 upon and it's also vary with respect to the frequency. So it's like equations you will assume once frequency is increasing, z naught will have some change. When frequency is decreasing, f z naught having some different value. Similar to that, your longer the free space wavelength at the same time, that is called a guided wavelength. Okay, so now come to the circular waveguide. A hollow metallic tube of a uniform circular cross section for the transmitting electromagnetic wave. by successive reflection from the inner wall of the tube is known as circular waveguide. From the figure we can see that this is your circular waveguides. Practically it look like this. So here your microwave energy will transmit. Now circular waveguide is used in many special applications in the microwave techniques, and it has an advantage of greater power handling capacity and lower attenuations for a given cutoff wavelength. So however the disadvantages of somewhat greater size and the weight. Okay, this is only the disadvantage of circular waveguide. Otherwise the advantage compared to the rectangular waveguide is that have handling capacity, power handling capacity is more, lower attenuation is there. The polarizations of a transmitted wave can be alerted due to the minor irregularities of the wall surface of a circular waveguide, whereas the rectangular waveguide guide the polarization is fixed. Once again you repeat, the polarizations of transmitted wave can be alerted due to the minor irregularities of the wall surface, okay, of the circular waveguide. But whereas the in rectangular waveguide we can see that waveguide the polarization is fixed. Okay, so these are the basic difference of things. Here we can see that rectangular waveguide as well as circular waveguides are really in practical times. Practical times we can see that what kind of things are there. So here you can see that application of circular waveguide. So rotating joint in the radar to connect the horn antenna feeding a parabolic reflection or reflector. Okay, so a TE01 mod is very suitable for long distance waveguide transmission above the 10 gigahertz. So short and medium distance broadband communications, okay, it is used. So this is some sort of a numerical problems. So let's guy we will see the numerical problem later on. Okay, and we I have considered the numerical problems we have. Okay, so this is today's agenda. Till now you can do the practice to solve to get the uh, here exercise problem is there. You can find out the cutoff wavelength and cutoff frequency when lambda c is equal to 6.8148 and fc is equal to 4.395 gigahertz. So you can do the exercise. Okay, so based on the previous formula you can exit. And one other problem is that suppose you are having a rectangular waveguide where a is a 4 centimeter and b is a centimeters. So find all the mod which the propagates. So here I have already given the hints. Based on that you can do the calculation. So thank you guys. Hope this class will be very helpful and to understand the rectangular waveguide and circular waveguides and many more things we have learned. And once again I would like to thanks and thank you guys for listening proper and properly. And it's a very informative sessions as per my knowledge. uh, thank you so much, and thanks a lot.